Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round number 7 of the UK&I Monday Night Skip Barber Series live here on RaceSpotTV in association with the Calm Zone, the campaign against living miserably. Tonight's race will be at Detroit Grand Prix of Belle Isle at Belle Isle Park in Detroit, Michigan of the United States of America, and we will do 14 laps around this 2.35 mile racetrack here today. 43 cars signed up, so it's bound to be another cracker of a race here in this amazing series. Track temps are 25 degrees in the air and 38 degrees Celsius on the track. Partly cloudy again, so it's fairly average temperatures for what this season has brought us so far. My name is Linus Broström, and I'm joined as always by Rachel Whitefoot. And Rachel, it's been a great season so far. Halfway through the season now, Edwards just leading the championship, and today he's looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, absolutely, Linus. And it's definitely been a very busy season with a lot going on. And we come now to one of the toughest street tracks this series actually faces. And I love this place because it is tight, it's twisting, and there are no room for mistakes. It's a really difficult track, but it's also really fun to drive. It's just difficult in a crowd, as IndyCar often finds around here. So the Skip Barber Series, I think, is a great fit for this place, and it definitely brings out the racing.
We've seen some great racing here, and before we go any further, here's a look at the current championship standings with Simon Edwards coming off last weekend with a 16-point lead ahead of Ewan Pattinson, who actually missed that race, so he's just 2 points ahead of Lee Anderson. Then it's Leah Hughes in 4th and Will Redford in 5th. So as you can see, your top 10 there, but they have drop weeks coming into play, but we will get into those in a couple of weeks when we get closer to the end, so we can figure out who is going where. But at the moment, it's Simon Edwards leading the championship, and he is on provisional pole position here as well. It's about 1 minute left of qualifying now until the checkered flag flies, and then everybody will obviously have a chance to complete their laps. But at the moment, it's Simon Edwards leading the way by just almost a tenth and a half here ahead of Leah Hughes, and Daniel Tuff's currently sitting in 3rd position, so he's looking really good. We also had one of our championship contenders, Will Redford. He had some technical issues, so he's starting a bit behind, but he's currently in 20th on the lap here now. See if he can improve as we're watching Simon Edwards here behind the 22 car of Ewan Pattinson. Edwards in the draft trying to improve on his lap time even more. Coming now through the early parts of the circuit down into turn number 3, I believe this would be, and that's going to be the main overtaking opportunity on this track. It's the longest straightaway on the track and the hardest braking zone, so where they're going into now, that's the main overtaking opportunity, especially on the first lap. You can we might see a little bit of a roadblock there, because coming off that corner, the track is really tight, so that's where we've seen most start incidents on this track. But there is not much room for error anywhere, and last time we were here I think we saw 4 or 5 cars hit the wall in the last couple of laps, so it definitely is not over until it is over. But Simon Edwards on a pretty good lap here. We'll see what he can do. Pattinson just ahead of him there is in 4th place, but he's not got any draft on this lap, so I think Edwards would be the only one to improve on this lap so far. Time has run out though, so anybody who gets to the start finish line now is done with their qualifying, so most people doing that. I think PM Jones is just coming to the end of his lap here, and he's not going to improve either. Going to keep following Simon Edwards here though through 10 up into 11, now down to the final 2 corners. See if he'll be able to improve. He might not even have to, because it doesn't look like anybody else is going to improve either. But 2 more corners to go. Missed the apex slightly there, and I think he might have let off the gas here a bit. He has. He's not even going to complete his lap, so 43.176 is going to be it for Simon Edwards here as you see him pull into the pits. Tony Stack down in 26th, coming now into turn number 11 as well. 2 more corners to go for him. See where he can go. Pattinson actually managed to improve slightly, but he's not going to improve his position. Lee Hughes has improved as well, but not enough to get any closer or to pass Simon Edwards. Just under a tenth behind there now. But here comes Tony Stack. Past the pit entry, it's a little right hand kink here, and then he's going to get to the start finish line. from 26th. See where he will go past the start finish line, and it is not going to be an improvement, so he's going to go straight over the grass and just park it up. And here comes Christopher Miles as well now out of the final corner. He's currently sitting in P number 12, 144.033. See if he can beat that. Here comes the finish line. He will improve on that, but he will not gain any. He'll actually gain one position there, so good job by him moving up into P11. Last few cars now coming around the last couple of corners here. Lee Anderson is still on a lap. He's going to be coming around that final corner for you just now. Believe, no, he was further back on the lap. I think he has already done his lap actually. He is not going to be able to make it to the end though, so I believe that's it, and everybody has finished. So let's go through the starting grid here. It's Simon Edwards on pole position, just under a tenth ahead of Leahy's, with Daniel Tufts in third and Ewan Pattinson in fourth position. It's going to be Lee Anderson, as you saw there, in fifth, Ben Evans in sixth, Adam Miles in seventh, with Paul Grillo in P number 8, Ben Daniels in ninth, and Anthony PM Jones rounding out your top 10. It's Christopher Miles in 11th, Dave Kirkman in 12th, Reece Saunders in 13th, Clark Williams in 14th, Nicholas Von Roberts in 15th, Ray Peasley in 16th, Lewis Sheena in 17th, Denny O'Keefe in 18th, Will Redford recovered up to only a P19, and Patrick Fairbanks in 20th. And well, Rachel, Will Redford starting all the way down in 19th. That's going to be something to look out for this race, definitely.
Certainly is, yeah. Will Redford had a bit of an issue with his connection, of course, in qualifying, so he's a little bit further back than his speed would permit. I think it's definitely going to make that mid-pack very interesting, Linus, and I'm looking forward to exactly how this one goes, because it's not a great track for moving to the mid-pack.
Definitely is not, especially not at the beginning. You just got to avoid all the carnage at the beginning, and you'll probably gain a few spots, but it's going to be way behind the leaders. Looking at our 1 second bracket as well, as we always do, it's going to be a 144.176, and that's going to bring us down to P14, which is Clark Williams. So almost a 2-minute lap time is still 14 cars within a second. That just goes to show how close everybody is around here. Still though, waiting for the final few cars to line up here, and we've seen especially through this season, when they get off the grid, the first few cars, they'll start weaving right away just to heat their tires up ever so slightly. I don't think we'll be seeing much of that today. Didn't look like they had too much issues heating their tires up in qualifying, but we'll see what happens coming down into turn number 3, which is going to be the first main overtaking opportunities. And you can see the whole 43 car field disappearing around the last corner there. I believe there is actually only 41 cars on the grid, as 2 people will not show up for the start of the race, but still 41 cars around here. That's going to be well more than enough for these guys. As the engines are revving, everybody is on the grid, the red lights are on, and we are racing in Detroit. You can see Barney waving that flag as hard as he can to get these cars rolling, and it's going to be a good start there for Simon Edwards. Terry McGrother is not going to get going off the start though. He's falling down the order on my timing here, so I'm not really sure what happened there, but let's follow the leaders here. They're going to be nose to tail coming down into turn number 3. They're going to be side by side right away. It's going to be Leah Hughes on the outside of Edwards. Daniel Tufts there as well, trying to make it 3 wide, but he can't find the gap, so it's going to be Leah Hughes into turn number 3. He's going to lose the car, but he's going to hold on to it. It's going to lose the lead again, but he's going to be able to keep going, and there was contact behind as well, Rachel.
There was indeed. We had a bit of an incident there in that corner with I believe it's going to be Ewan Patterson, who got a little too close to the 14, and he got a little bit sideways there. 34, sorry, not 14. That'd be Daniel Tufts. It got him sideways, got tapped there by Lee Anderson, but everyone made it out with nary a scrape.
Adam Miles as well has had an incident from starting P number 7. He's falling way down the order, and there is a massive crash as well back in the field. Lewis Sheena is involved in that. That's going to be about 10 cars. They're stacking up here, blocking the track. The last car coming through there, that's Denny O'Keefe and Nicholas Von Roberts doing a great job of avoiding that, but here comes a replay, and that's about half the field involved in that. Fairbanks, Seymour Harding, Mud Kiko. You can see one car getting hit here, and then that's going to be further down around the next corner. I believe the main incident happened. See if we get a replay of that as well.
Yeah, that was huge, Linus. It was right out there onto the back straight. All the cars ramping up full speed and just contact. So we had the initial crash there 2 corners prior, And as they came round onto the main straight, they're all accelerating out of that blind apex, and the car's sideways in front of them, as you can see there, and boom, 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 boom. Just stacking up there in classic Belle fashion.
Yeah, you can just see there's about 10-15 cars getting involved in that. Let's hope most of them can get through that, but that's just what happens here. You get around the corner, there's a car parked sideways, and there is literally nowhere to go, and you're just going to pile straight in. We're watching the 24 here as he's coming around. That'll be Denny O'Keefe. Believe he was, yeah, right in the middle of that, so he's about 5th car in, and then there's about 5 more behind him. So unfortunate for him, I think most of them will be able to get going, and they have spare cars as well that they can start using, but there's a contact in the corner and then they just run over each other and the whole track is pretty much blocked. No full colors yellow in this though, so we're still racing. Up front it's Simon Edwards. He's actually pulled 1.5 seconds on Lee Hughes and Ewan Pattinson, so we've missed what happened there, but Simon Edwards has checked out at the front of the field, so if he can do his own race here, I believe it's going to be Lee Hughes, Pattinson and Tufts battling for 2nd position in this race.
Absolutely are. It's definitely gotten to be a very crazy one so far. We've got a bit of separation here from the front grouping here. Basically down to about 9th, 10th place, that being Christopher Miles back there. Decent gap between himself and the guys behind him, but towards the sharp end, it's still going to be Simon Edwards really pushing this thing. He's got a good gap here on the Hughes leaders, which is critical. He's out of that draft window. That is massive for him. 1.5 seconds right now as they're coming towards the line here. But Ewan Patterson there in 3rd place, as you're seeing 17th to 18th, 19th there on the screen. Terry Magruder a little bit further back. Those guys, of course, running down the back straight there, coming into that bus stop area, we call it, as the leader's now coming into turn 1, so it's been a very busy race so far.
Yeah, definitely has, and that incident caused the whole field to spread out, but Simon Edwards still checking out. It's over 1.5 seconds, almost up to 1.6, so I guess we're going to have to focus on these guys back here, and when they start battling, their last chance of catching Edwards is going to be gone, but it's Lee Hughes leading the way from Ewan Pattinson, and you'll wonder here if they've got some sort of communication here telling each other not to do anything stupid, just sit nose to tail and try to catch back up. But I guess only time will tell, right? Lee Hughes still holding on to that position, out close to the wall. Edwards really close on the entry there as well, and this is a group from 2nd down into P number 8, so that's going to be 7 cars in the 2nd group chasing down a leader, but Lee Hughes and Pattinson at the front of it, and then it's Ben Daniels at the very back of it. We're on board with him here. He's trying to catch up to Anthony P.M. Jones, who's actually dropped back a bit from Ben Evans, so if they're not careful that could turn into a 5-car group and these two could get left behind, and behind him he's got about a 2.5 second gap to Paul Grillo, so he doesn't need to look in his mirrors whatsoever so far, but they're closing back up again, so it's a good 7-car pack here. Simon Edwards is just opening that gap up about 1 to 2 tenths per lap at this moment.
Yeah, he really is absolutely pulling a blinder today. He took the championship lead last week and he wants to maintain that, and I think that's something he's definitely looking like he can do. You know, the guys behind him are drafting together. It's not likely to close up for a good couple of laps here. You guys throughout this race moment, and things have been incredibly busy for us. Chris Keeble is up from 27th to 14th. He's just got off the screen there, in fact. But Keeble in the 76 machine, currently running on his own in a bit of open ground. He's got about a second or so to the cars in front of him, maybe 2. Actually, that looks to have opened up a bit more than timing screens would actually allow. Make that 7 seconds, so things changed a little bit there from the last lap by, but the gaps behind have gotten a little bit wider here, Linus, and we're definitely seeing more open racing. We're looking at some great stuff back here. This is a little bit further back in your field, around 20th, 29th, 30th at the moment. These guys absolutely going hardcore, including Will Redford, who's just leading at the front of that trail. Oh, we've got a car sideways. David Clapham there, 35.
Yeah, and Ben Evans as well, you saw they're trying to get around him. He clipped the wall, so Ben Evans is going to be out of the race. I think he hit his left rear wheel in the barrier, and that just messed his suspension right up. He spun again and hit the wall, so Ben Evans crashed out there from 6th position trying to get around Ben Clapham after he spun right in front of the leaders. So now there's only 6 more cars left in that group, and they've spread out as well. You can see here just after he hit the wall, he just realized that his left rear wheel was way out of alignment, and he just parked it right off the wall there. So very unfortunate for him. Great qualifying effort. You're going to see on the replay here, it just goes a little bit too far. I don't think that had anything to do with Clapham, actually. It just pushed it way too hard. So no blame put there on the lapped car. I apologise to him for that, but a little bit of an unfortunate event there for Ben Evans. So they use Pattinson, Tufts and Anderson still going to stick in a group here, trying to run down Simon Edwards, and they've actually closed back in now about 3/10. See what the timing is now as they come to the start-finish line though. It's going to be down to 1.4 seconds between Edwards and Liu, so they are catching back up slightly. And if they can get back to about 1.2, 1.3 seconds, they're going to get a little bit of a draft down these straightaways. But you can see here Edwards has a huge draft from the lap car in front of him, which would be Paul Carey, who's at the very tail end of the lead lap in the 82 car. He's going to get lapped here though out of turn number 3. So unless he gets in the way too much, I think Simon Edwards will do a good job here pulling away, and he's going to get out of the way of your leader. What will he do to the rest of the cars though? He's going to pull off to... He's actually going to stay in the racing line. They're not going to catch him just yet. This is not a very good place to lap him though. As we're looking back here at Clark Williams, Paul Grillo and Reece Saunders racing it out here for 8th, 9th and 10th, bottom end of your top 10. And these guys, they're all over each other as well. Paul Grillo, it was up leading qualifying for a while there, just couldn't hold his time towards the end. So he's back here, started 8th, back down in 9th now. But good race for these guys so far as well, Rachel.
Yes, certainly is. It's definitely been busy. That car, I think, was an interesting position, but he had nowhere to go. I kind of really got to defend that guy there. He had no options of where he could really run on that track. He wouldn't get in the way without fully stopping, which isn't fair on him, so we'll keep an eye on. Having a quick look here at on board there, Paul Grillo. Clark Williams is just in front of him here. They're heading towards the back straight now, to that corner, and accelerating hard now onto the back stretch there. Paul Grillo in the middle of this little group here with himself. Clark Williams and Reece Saunders just behind them. Williams, of course, just got past Paul Grillo. No chance to fight back yet for Grillo there on the right-hand side of your screen. The onboard view showing us that run here. Look at just how tight that track is, Linus. That is it. There's no runoff really here. There's a couple of spots where you've got it, but in general, you make a mistake here, you're screwed. This is why it has such a high attrition rate.
Yeah, one little mistake and you're pretty much out of the race, which you saw earlier there with Ben Evans. He just slipped out a little bit wide here. You can see Paul Grillo though trying to catch up to Clark Williams, but he can't get the exit onto the first straightaway here. He cannot get enough of a draft, so I don't think it's going to be close enough to do anything. You can see the cars in front of him here. That's Anthony P.M. Jones and Ben Daniels disappeared around the corner, and then a lapped car in between them. I believe that's still the 82 of Paul Carey there. Going to get out of the way of these guys as well. But they're slightly catching back up to Ben Daniels and co. Meanwhile, Simon Edwards pulled 3/10 on that lap to the second group. And these are pretty much the only groups that we've got in this race. We got a group of 4 or 5 further back in the field, but other than that the whole field got pretty spread out from that first incident. So I guess we're gonna have to keep an eye on these leaders, as it looks like Pattinson is gonna have a look on Lee Hughes, but Hughes is gonna close the door on him coming down into the next corner. And there's another crash. That is the 22 league organizer of Alan Patterson, who is gonna be out of the race. Gonna get a replay up on the screen of that, see what happened there. I believe he might have had contact with John Torpey as they're coming into turn number 3. He's just going to go wide into the wall, and then Torpey, I believe that is, going to drive straight into the side of him. Nowhere to go, just a little bit too hard, and well, day over for him, unfortunately. Back though at second place and third here, it's Pattinson still chasing down Lee Hughes, but these guys are not passing each other. I believe they're doing all they can just to catch back up to Simon Edwards. As we're coming over the start finish line again here, it's going to go from 7.59 down to 5.24, so they caught him up again 2.5 tenths on that lap.
Yeah, they really have. It's definitely got a little bit closer for them, of course, there. As just want to have a look back here actually towards Alex Bailey in 28th place. Currently trying to make a move on Langford just ahead of him there. Oh, a little bit of contact. As you just saw the tail end of that there on your screen, as that would be Ray Peasley at the back end of that group. The red machine just caught the back corner of that car. Alex Bailey there in the purple and white car. Yellow and black being Mark Langford. These guys down here in 30th, 29th and 28th, and having a pretty good ding-dong actually on the track there, Linus. Trying to get some space, trying to reposition themselves, but spread out a little bit after that contact coming into the bus stop.
Yeah, they did. It's a commentator's curse. Whenever we go to a battle, they tend to spread out as soon as we start watching them. See what they can do, though. Coming down into turn
Oh,
number
brilliant.
1 here. It's back at the front, though. That's going to be Pattinson trying to make a move on these, but he's not going to get close enough to do anything. And that lap... no, actually, that's into turn number 8, sorry, into the little infield section here, up into turn number 11, coming to the end of the lap, so onto the little back straightaway, and then 2 corners to go. It looks like they've closed in slightly on your race leader here. He had 1.5 seconds at the end of the last lap, coming out onto lap number 8, so approaching halfway, coming into the last little kink. Then we'll see if they've been able to get closer or not. But I don't know if Pattinson wants to pass Leus here, if he's just sitting behind him trying to let Leus catch up. But that time by, they lost 3/100ths of a second, so very even with the leader on that lap. Lee Anderson as well has the fastest lap last time by with a 1:43.458. So they're really moving back here. But Simon Edwards doing a great job up front leading this thing. And this is where Pattinson would make a move if he wanted to. He's got so much overspeed on Leus, but he's just sitting back there and letting Leus do the chasing. So definitely still trying to catch back up to the leader. So these guys are not going to be making moves on each other before in the next few laps. Definitely going to wait until the end when they realize they cannot catch the leader, or maybe they will and they'll try and make a move on him. But no passes being made in the near future from these guys, I don't think.
And I will say the gap there has remained pretty constantly, and it's still about 1.5 seconds. It has been for around 4 laps, so they're keeping pace. I think it's just a matter of if they stopped fighting a little bit, they might actually be able to catch up, because we've seen a couple of attempts made by that group rather than working straight together. I think it is maybe hindering them slightly, because the trio should really be able to catch up here with some of the drafting opportunities. There's at least 2-3 straights that have got some gain potential. I don't think they're quite using it as much as they could. Pattinson here desperately looking for second place. I wonder if some of them have given up on trying to get to first yet.
Still trying, though. They're getting really close to each other here. The group behind of PM Jones and Daniels have spread out, as you can see in the background there. PM Jones actually catching back up to this group, keeping pace with them. Daniels dropping off slightly, and then the group behind them, Grillo, Saunders and Williams, they've sort of spread out as well. So this is the only real group that we have going on right now in the top 20 of the entire field, thanks to that start incident. So see what will happen here. Here comes Pattinson. This is not a place to pass, but he's going to have to set him off now, coming through the first couple of corners, then onto the next straightaway. If he can get a good exit here, he might be able to pass him into turn 3. It's going to be a really good exit though from Leus, close to the wall. Here comes Pattinson. He's going to look to the left and he's going to find... No, he's not. He's just going to back off and stay behind Leus. He does not want to make a move and slow them down. He wants to keep on trying to chase down Simon Edwards. And that last time by, they gained 1.3 tenths on him. So they are getting closer. They just need those 1 or 2 more tenths and they will be within drafting range. And they'll close right up on him really, really quick. But it's just that last little bit they need to gain. And if these were stock cars, they would be bump drafting down the straightaways. But you really can't do that here. So obviously you can't get any help from the car behind you. But Leus doing an amazing job now, having a car all over the back of him and still being able to slightly catch up to Simon Edwards at the front.
Yeah, certainly are, of course. And Pattinson looking again, just to get some maybe clean air there in the radiator. We do have to remember these Skippys can get quite temperature sensitive, Linus. So that is something they have to worry about if they're really close behind the car. We've seen more than our fair share of explosions of those in the past, where let's just say the gearbox is left via the exhaust pipe. And right now, Simon Edwards is honestly having a really clean, easy race. It's been a really good performance. I'm looking back at Paul Grillo now because they're on top of each other here. Just coming behind that lead group. They're about 10 seconds back. Reece Saunders out front now ahead of Paul Grillo. Grillo right up the back of him. Could be an opportunity either here towards start-finish line or into that third corner.
Definitely could. You can see Saunders' rear wing there has some damage to it as well. I don't know how that will affect him, but doesn't affect too much here as they all hit the wall. All 3 of them hit the wall on the exit of the final corner, coming down to this little king, but it doesn't look like it will affect him. Just a little bit of a brush. Here he comes on the outside of Paul Grillo with a move on Saunders. Not going to do it into turn number 1. He's going to try and set him up through 1 and 2 here, then coming down into turn number 3. He's definitely going to have to do something. The group you can see in front of there, they're not making any moves either, so we'll just stick with these guys. Here comes Grillo. He's going to be too far behind Saunders though. Saunders gets a much better exit onto this straightaway, so he's going to actually open that gap, and he's not going to be ever even close enough at all And Williams dropping back a little bit as well, so Saunders going to hold on to P8 for now. Grillo always going to hit the grass there, Saunders. That's going to hurt him a little bit, but Grillo not able to find an opening in these corners. You don't really want to make a pass. So I think turn 3 is his best option, possibly down into turn number 6 or 7 coming down to the end of this next straightaway. But Saunders just manages to get an amazing exit out of turn number 2 to get the gap down to turn number 3, so I think that's what's going to save him if he can keep doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul Grillo, they're looking here as he tries to find opportunity to go a little bit wide, maybe go for the undercut here, and he's going to not quite get there, but I saw his intent, Linus. He was definitely looking for that undercut over speed, as he's right on the back here of Reece Saunders. Reece Saunders really has, like you said, fantastic corner exit speed in this car. That's his definite saving grace in this, and Grillo can get to him. But you see him just pull away every exit.
He did. Meanwhile, Edwards pulled a second again on the guys behind him on that past lap, so nothing happening at the front here. Here comes Grillo up the back of Saunders again. Will he be able to do anything now, though? Coming down the front straightaway. Going to have to try and set him up again in 1 and 2. Let's see if we can see what kind of different lines they're running. Saunders going to go defensive, though. He does not want to let him get up the inside going to turn number 1. That's going to hurt him. Grillo's going to get a much better line into turn number 2, and that should help him. Saunders, though, he's going to hold the speed. Here he comes. He's going to defend the inside. Where is Grillo going to go? He's going to stay behind him. He's going to move. He's going to go to the left. He's going to try the outside. Who's going to be later on the brakes here? You can see Daniels here ahead of him. Here comes Grillo. He's going to be late on the brakes. Saunders going to get sideways, but he's going to hold the inside, and he's going to hold on to that position. And Grillo going to get slightly in the grass, and Saunders going to hold on to P8. So good job from him to make the corner. They're both late on the brakes, but Saunders even getting a little bit sideways, defending that position from Grillo.
Yeah, absolutely did. And Grillo's getting hungry right now. We're on lap 11 here, and I think he's realised it's time to get going as he gets a great exit there, coming out onto the back straight, Linus. This could be his opportunity for Paul Grillo. Looking to the inside would be his real window. Going for the outside instead. He's going to try and go for that undercut to go parallel into the corner. Or perhaps pull alongside here to take the inside for the following corner. If he goes outside here and holds it, he can go inside of the next corner. He's not going to overlap enough, but he should get a good run in terms of speed to that corner. Not going to be enough because the door is closed for Saunders. Takes the corner normally there, and there's no major issue for him. Reece Saunders just absolutely laying down the laps here. And it's just the rhythm he's got, I think, is truly perfect for this. He's doing exactly what he needs to do.
He does. Meanwhile, they still got to watch out for Clark Williams back there as well. Every time he tries to move there, Grillo, Clark Williams gets really, really close, but he's not able to get close enough. Meanwhile, Will Redford, trying to recover from his poor qualifying, has crashed out of the race. Single car incident there, I believe. So unfortunate for him, no points today, but here they come across the start-finish line again. Leaders are still steady between 1 and 2, so 1.5 seconds there. Here comes Grillo up on the curb. This time Saunders is going to get the better line coming off turn 2, but Grillo is going to have the draft. Coming down on Saunders, we know he's going to go defensive. Is Grillo going to be close enough this time? It's a bit bigger gap this time, so I don't think he's going to be able to do anything. He's just going to stay behind him. There's 4 laps to go. He's actually going to make a late charge for the inside. Here he comes. They're going to be side by side. Saunders going to go wide, though. Grillo way too shallow. And here comes Williams around the outside. He's going to take that position away. You see, it looks like it. Clark Williams going to move up to P number 9 now. They're going to be side by side into the next corner, but Williams going to get him by being on the inside, and Saunders all of a sudden has over half a second to both these guys. So unfortunate move there from Grillo, and Saunders now has the chance to set sail on both of them.
Yeah, it really does. That's a huge gap he's just generated for that one. And looking a bit further forwards, Linus, towards the front of our group, they've not really caught up to Simon Edwards. The gap is still the same exactly. But Ewan Patterson and Daniel Tufts here, or sorry, Lee Hughes and Ewan Patterson have been caught by Tufts and Anderson. So that 2 is now definitely a 4 here. And this could definitely have implications coming into these final laps, because we're going to see people pushing harder. Lee Anderson especially.
Yeah, coming now to 3 laps to go. I think they have to realize that they are not going to catch up to Simon Edwards, so they better start racing each other now. Pattinson, he can't just sit back there and wait unless he wants to do it to the final lap. But Tufts is going to be there, and he's going to pounce as soon as he can. That time by, though, they caught up by just over a tenth, and Ewan Pattinson put down the fastest lap of the race, 1:42.971, as you can see there at the top of your screen. See if he can get a run on Lee, so he's not going to be close enough this time. It's going to be Anderson looking behind. He's going to back in behind Tufts as well. Pattinson going to stay behind Liu. So 3 laps to go, and still no moves being made. Liu gets the grass a little bit there, and again going into turn number 4. But no moves being made. I don't know if he's waiting for a better opportunity, if he can't get close enough, or if he still wants Liu to catch up to Simon Edwards. But it's less than 3 laps to go, so if Pattinson wants anything to happen here, he's definitely going to have to make a move now, because he cannot wait until the last lap, can he?
It's possible. If he's set up perfectly and he thinks he can do it, I think it is possible to wait for the last lap, if not preferable. But that's always the gamble in motor racing, is can I do it when I try to? Is it something he's practiced that throughout the race, he's set it up and tried it but not really gone for it? I think I've seen a couple of indications of things he's set up here. I think he's measuring it, and I do think it could be something he'd go for. He's experienced enough to pull that. Whether he'll wait is another matter entirely.
Yeah, we'll have to see now, coming through 12 and 13 here to end the lap. On to 2 laps to go of this race now, coming down to the final little kink over the start finish line. We'll see if they've closed up or not. It doesn't look like it. Looks actually like Edwards has pulled away, but we'll see. Coming across the line, 1.4 goes down or up to a 1.333, so just under a tenth they gain that time. But for 2 laps, that's definitely not going to be enough. Here he comes again, Pattinson. It just looks like Liu has better speed through 1 and 2, and that's what's really saving him here. Here comes Pattinson, though. He's got a little bit over speed coming down with the draft, but he's not going to be close enough. He's not even going to be within a car length as they get into the braking zone. So through the corner, he's going to be really close, but when he gets into the braking zone, he's way too far behind to do anything. So just Liu has way too much speed through 1 and 2. They're really close to the Wolf of Liu. Nobody's going to hold on to the car, so Pattinson still behind. Tufts and Anderson behind as well, struggling to keep up here. They dropped back a couple of tenths on that last lap, so it looks like it's going to be 1 battle for second here and 1 battle for fourth, but as soon as these two get side by side, Tufts and Anderson will be right on top of them, and we could very well see Anderson go from 5th up into 2nd in the final lap here, if he can get some luck. Here comes Pattinson. I'm going to have a look on news again, going through number 8 here down to the little infield section. No good place to pass here though. Now they're moving back up to the back straightaway for the second final time. It's going to be 1 lap to go, and does not look like Pattinson is able to do anything, Rachel.
No, I don't think he is. I think he tried to look, but I don't think he had the speed. I think these guys really filtered themselves. If you look at it, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. By qualifying, only 3rd and 4th change positions here. So I think it's just been a case that these guys have really been in the running order that they kind of started in. In fact, the top 5, apart from 3rd and 4th change of position, are identical. It's been a speed on this track situation with it being so tough to pass, and they come across the line there. Edwards, Hughes, same as qualifying. Patterson and Tufts swap places, of course, for 3rd and 4th, and Anderson 5th.
Yeah, Anderson tried to make a move there, but Tufts defended. The gap now is down to 1.2 between our leader and 2nd place. That's going to give you a little bit of draft, so you can see Pattinson is not even going to get even close. But here comes Anderson up the outside of Daniel Tufts. He's going to be able to get 4th position here. Going into turn number 3, is late on the brakes. He's going to give just enough room on the inside. Tufts up on the curb. That's going to be Anderson up into P number 4 on the final lap. At least we got 1 move being made in this group throughout this race. But Pattinson still all over the back of Liu's, so it's definitely not over yet. He's got about half a lap. We are on our final lap here. Oh, and there's going to be a wall contact there from Tufts as well. That's going to drop him back a little bit too much from Anderson. So Anderson has pretty much secured that 4th position. Coming now down to turn number 8 for the final time. Pattinson, he's 3-4 car lengths behind Liu's now as well. See if he'll be able to catch him at all down here, but Hughes is getting a lot of draft now all of a sudden from Simon Edwards. On the final lap, they are within a second, but it's not going to be enough for Hughes. Will he be able to hold off Pattinson though? Pattinson dropping back here. I'm not really sure what happened going down there, but he dropped back. You can see in that battle here going into turn number 3. That's back with our pack 8, 9th and 10th. Saunders, Williams. You saw Williams hit the wall there. Meanwhile, it's going to be Simon Edwards coming through 12. Coming through 13 on to the front straightaway, and he's going to take the checkered flag. He's going to lead every single inch of this race, and he's going to take his 2nd win of the season by winning at Detroit Grand Prix of Belle Isle, just ahead of Leah Hughes and Ewan Pattinson. Lee Anderson coming home in 4th, Daniel Tufts in 5th, so that's going to be extended championship lead for Simon Edwards. But these guys back here, Saunders, Grillo and Williams, they are still going at it. Coming here around the last corner, it's going to be Saunders, and Grillo's just going to hold off Williams there for P number 9. Clark Williams coming home in P number 10, so those guys going at it all the way to the end. Here's Chris J. Morris as well, and Adam Miles coming through now. Turn 9, turn 10 up to 11 onto that little last straightaway. See if Miles can do anything. You see Morris, he doesn't even have a rear wing still after that early incident, so he's been able to keep going without that somehow. Great effort from him. See what Miles can do here, coming around 13. He's going to be too far back as well, so it looks like Morris is going to hold on to that unless he'll lose speed at the end here, but I don't think he will. So these guys as well battling all the way through the race, but in the end it's going to be close though, but he's going to hold on to 16th there. So good job from Morris without a rear wing. And side by side here as well, for the next couple of cars, is Parnell taking P19 behind Christopher Kane, actually, who took 18th. So a lot of big movers as well. Here comes Kip Stevens and Mark Langford side by side as well. So a lot of these guys finding each other towards the end. Well, Rachel, that was not much going on after that first lap incident that we saw.
I think it definitely shook things out, Linus, more than we expected, and that really changed the dynamic of the race in this one. We had some great fights, I think, throughout the race. Still a lot going on, but it definitely changed the overall appearance of things. It just became one of those very difficult situations of trying to find a way around this tricky track.
Well, it did. Well, everybody has finished up the race, so post-race results, it's Simon Edwards coming home with the victory, 1.167 seconds ahead of Leah Hughes, with Ewan Pattinson in 3rd. Lee Anderson takes 4th from Daniel Tufts on the last lap, who finishes 5th. PM Jones in 6th, then Ben Daniels in 7th, Reese Saunders in 8th, Paul Grillo in 9th, and Clark Williams rounding out your top 10. It's Christopher Miles in 11th, almost 20 seconds ahead of Christopher Keeble in 12th, Tony Stack in 13th, Mark Redford in 14th, Terry McGrother in 15th, Chris J. Morris in 16th, Adam Miles in 17th, Christopher Kane in 18th, Peter Parnell in 19th, and Dave M. Dowson rounding out the top 20. The rest of the result is up on your screen there, and as you can see, we still had 27 cars finishing on the lead lap. Paul Kirby in 28th, 1 lap down, and then the rest got involved in incidents. So 28 cars finishing despite that big first lap crash. That's pretty fortunate for most of them. See, though, we do not have anybody to interview just yet, so next week, Rachel, we are going back to our least favorite track on the schedule, I think, the Nordschleife. What are we expecting from that one?
I'd say it's definitely the track the drivers are the least favouring of. It's one they've all not been too cool with. Some of them love it, some of them hate it. It's the Marmite track of the season. It's the one that some people are really, really into, some people just really don't like, and it happens, but it's going to be one of the situations where it's just either something you have to do for the points, or it's something you know you can do great at, or something you're not going to race. I mean, we always have the variety. Yeah,
it's bound to be a very drafty race, though, compared to this, where you didn't see much drafting at all and walls everywhere. You do still not have very much runoff there, but the draft down the back straightaway, you'll see cars passing each other back and forth, or even 2 or even 3 or maybe 4 times. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think last season we had a huge crash coming into the final couple of corners there on the lead lap, racing for one of the top spots. So see if we'll have that. But before then, we are still here at Detroit, and Simon Edwards, pole position, led every single lap, won the race, extended championship lead. Congratulations, Simon. How was that?
Thank you. I got lucky in qualifying. Me and Ewan were towing each other, and I made a mistake, so I'm a bit sorry for you and not getting a bit further up, but I managed to get pole by drafting Ewan there. So pole was a surprise, really, but you know, I'm not gonna not steal a tow. So yeah, so I'm glad I got on pole there, because it's quite hard to pass around here safely. And then I got that lucky break with Leah slipping off a bit in T3 in lap 1, and then I was just panicking trying to hold the gap. I thought, oh, this is an easy win, they'll fight, I can just cruise home now. And no, they wouldn't fight. So Claire has got a bit more pace than me generally, by a tenth or two. So I was stretching my lap times there a bit to stay in front.
Yeah, they were definitely working together. We didn't see a single move from Pattinson for that second place until the very last lap. And Lewis was catching you 10th here, and you caught it back there, so stayed around 1.5 seconds the whole race. So amazing job from you there. Next week, though, Nürburgring Nordschleife. Expectations and hopes for that one.
It's just a random result there, isn't it? I do enjoy certainly hot lapping around there, so I'll try and enjoy the race. I'm reasonably quick. I'm not the quickest, but I'm reasonably quick on that course. So we'll just try and enjoy it. It's the draft fest at the end of the lap every time. We'll see what happens.
It definitely will. Anybody send a shout out to, as usual?
Yes, Masternaut, my sponsor. Alan Patterson again. I think he managed to finish the race this time, did he?
I think he took himself out, actually.
Oh dear. All right. I did hear him in the middle of the race talking, but that's a pity. And RaceSpot, as usual. You're always doing a great job.
Well, thank you for that, Simon. Looks like Simon is the only one to show up today, unfortunately. So see if we can get a quick look here on the championship standings. Actually, Simon Edwards up to 218 points, and my quick maths tell me that is a 25-point gap down to you and Pattinson. It is, yes. And then another 5 points down to Lee Anderson in third, and another 5 points down to Lee Hughes in fourth. So the battle from second on back is getting really, really close. And then Clark Williams just ahead of Will Redford there in fifth, with Will Redford's unfortunate event. Tufts in seventh, just ahead of Kirkman, and then Paul Grillo in ninth, just ahead of Nicholas von Roberts. So past halfway in the season, and the championship is still wide open. And with those drop weeks that we're going to start covering here in a couple of weeks, things are just gonna get even closer. So it's looking like one of the closer championships battles we've had in a couple of seasons here. Next week, though, like we said, we will be racing the Nürburgring Nordschleife. That's going to be 3 laps, but it's going to be just as long as this 15-lap race was. So I don't think you'll want to be missing that. My name is Linus Broström, though. I've been joined by Rachel Whitefoot, as always, with Hugo Lees doing the amazing job on the cameras. You've been watching the UK&I Monday Night Skip Barber series in association with the Calm Zone, live on RaceSpotTV. Catch us same time, same place next week. Until then, take care and stay safe, everybody. Goodbye.
Note